The MotoGP world has once again been shaken by a major issue that has affected the stability of the Ducati Lenovo team. In recent weeks, shocking news has been circulating. Francesco Bagnaglia's position is reportedly under threat, with Ducati apparently considering the drastic step of recruiting Fabio Quartararo as Marc Márquez's new teammate. This is more than just wild gossip. From the paddock to the Ducati course boardroom in Bologna, the atmosphere is said to be extremely tense. Will Ducati really replace Bagnaia with Quartararo? Let's discuss it. The crisis began with Bagnaglia's declining performance. After an outstanding performance at the Japanese Grand Prix, he experienced a drastic decline in the next 4 races, from Indonesia to Portugal. His speed no longer reflected the standards expected of a world champion, and he was even outperformed by non-factory Ducati riders. The most striking example of this was Fabio Di Giannantonio was able to get much more out of the Desmosedici, especially in Australia, when Bagnaia seemed to be losing his way. According to Italian media reports, serious rifts had emerged in the relationship between Francesco Bagnaia and the Ducati technical team. According to internal sources, a heated debate over the direction of the GP25's development was the main trigger for the escalation. Bagnaia reportedly pushed for major changes to several crucial components of the bike, considering this a necessary move to restore confidence and stability on the latest Desmosedici. However, this view clashed with that of the Ducati technical team, who deemed Bagnaglia's demands to be beyond the bounds of rational development. They considered the changes to be too extreme and too far removed from the technical foundations established at the beginning of the season. The situation was further complicated by the fact that no other Ducati riders had requested similar changes. In fact, they remained competitive with the existing package. Consequently, Bagnaglia's input, which was once a valuable reference point for development, gradually evolved from the feedback of a respected world champion to a constant source of complaint that was perceived as hindering the team's technical processes. This internal pressure created a tense atmosphere that became even more pronounced towards the end of the season. 2 world titles, once a source of confidence, had now become a heavy burden for Francesco Bagnaia. This was increasingly evident in his performance on the track, as he began making small mistakes that had previously been uncharacteristic of him. His behaviour in the paddock also changed. He often hesitated and had a blank stare and nervous demeanour during discussions with the technical team. In post-race interviews, his tone of voice was no longer calm. His answers were short and emotional, and it was clear that he was struggling to conceal the anxiety eroding his focus. When a world champion begins to show signs of fragility like this, rumours quickly spread. Various media outlets emphasised that Bagnaglia's position was now at the most precarious point of his career, with talk of a possible dismissal or major changes at the Ducati team exploding. Amidst this ongoing internal storm, one name suddenly emerged as the loudest, echoing throughout the paddock: Fabio Quartararo. The 2021 MotoGP world champion now finds himself in a challenging position at Yamaha, a team that is struggling to develop a competitive bike. This leaves his future in the balance, and Ducati sees a golden opportunity that cannot be ignored. Quartararo's fast and aggressive riding style, youthful energy, and immense potential make him the ideal candidate for Ducati's long-term project. Ducati's bosses are reportedly keen to pair Quartararo with Marc Márquez, a combination that many observers have called the most formidable of the last 2 decades. This pairing is predicted to transform the championship landscape and propel Ducati to new heights of dominance. However, such a major step also carries significant risks. Quartararo's riding style is completely different to that of Pecco Bagnaia, the primary reference point for motorcycle development. If Quartararo joins Ducati, the company will have to reconsider its development concept, potentially implementing major reforms to the GP25 project and beyond. Meanwhile, Marc Márquez has proven himself to be the team's new centre of gravity, influencing Ducati's direction, rhythm, and major decisions. Bagnaia's situation has become increasingly difficult since Márquez's arrival, as he immediately changed the power structure of the Ducati Lenovo team by winning the 2025 MotoGP World Championship. Márquez's success in setting new standards, being faster, more aggressive, and far more stable, has heated up discussions in the Ducati boardroom. Several internal sources have begun to speak out, revealing subtle friction between Bagnaya's camp and the technical team. Gradually, these rumours have trickled out to the public, sparking speculation that all is not well in the red garage. As the old saying goes, fire doesn't start without embers. Amidst the frenzy of high-stakes drama surrounding the 2025 Valencia MotoGP, however, there was a beautiful story, bringing warmth amidst the tension. The story of two brothers, Marc and Alex Márquez. During that intense weekend, Alex delivered an exceptional performance, securing victory in the sprint race. Meanwhile, Marc, still struggling with injury, could only watch the race from the pits. His face was tense and expectant, slowly transforming into a proud smile as he watched his brother cross the finish line victorious. The moment Marc stood up, hobbled into the Gresini paddock and gave Alex a big hug was one of the most emotional scenes of the whole season. Despite the intense competitive pressure and heat of the competition, the bond between these two brothers reminded everyone that MotoGP is about more than just speed and victory. There is a human and family side to the sport that brings it closer to the hearts of its fans. After Marc Márquez was sidelined due to injury, Ducati took the bold step of offering Nicolo Bulega a place on the factory team. His debut performance surprised many. Although he only finished 15th, this was considered a solid performance for a rookie suddenly thrust into the immense pressure of a first-team squad, and he immediately received a wave of praise as a result. However, it wasn't his race result that drew attention, but his comments about Pecco Bagnaia. In a post-race interview, Bulega made a statement that sent shockwaves through the paddock. In my opinion, Bagnaia doesn't even know what his problem is. This bold statement immediately sparked an uproar. According to Bulega, Bagnaia's inconsistency had reached an unnatural level for a world champion. He considered Bagnaia's fluctuating performance to be too extreme and said that he was unstable, both psychologically and technically, especially with regard to his increasingly complex understanding of the GP25. Despite his harsh criticism, Bulega paid tribute to Bagnaia's abilities. He emphasised that, once Bagnaia found his comfort zone, he remained one of the strongest and most formidable riders on the MotoGP grid. With just one race remaining and his form continuing to decline, Pecco Bagnaia is in the most precarious situation he has faced since donning the red Ducati jersey for the first time. He is under pressure from all sides, from within the team, from his rivals, and from the younger riders who are starting to prove themselves. Can Bagnaia regain his composure and bounce back in Valencia? Or will this mark the end of his dominance? Let us know what you think in the comments below.